common questions I get asked is how to find Wentletraps here at Lighthouse. This is the place to find Wentletraps if you want to find them on Sanibel. This isn't the only place, but this is definitely the best place. I don't think I've ever come here looking for them and not been able to find one. Is this a baby ear floating right here? Oh, I think it is. Look how cute. Look how cute that little baby ear is. Wow, they're so fragile. Adorable. Okay, so the thing with Wentletraps is they're tiny, so you've got to find where the tinies are. And right now we're in this little kind of cove area, and if you look really close here, and I know it's hard to see because the water's moving, that this is where all the little stuff is at. Okay, you can kind of see the little black stuff. Some people call it coffee grounds or coffee grinds. But this is kind of going to be where your tinies are. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's hard to see when the water's moving, but if you have a good eye and you know what you're looking for, this is where they're going to be, and this is where you're going to look. A scooper really isn't going to help you a whole lot in this instance, just because they're so small that you would just end up scooping up a bunch of sand, and you'd have to kind of sift through all of the little sand to try to find what you're looking for. So we're gonna kind of look and see what we can find, but I wanted to show you guys that this is the area where you're going to want to look for them. I'm trying to get to where the water is not as wavy for you guys to see. Let's see, hopefully here maybe. Oh, it is still a little bit wavy. Let's see here. This is where I should have brought my underwater camera, but I think it's still a little bit wavy. Okay, so there's a Wentletrap right there, right in the middle. Can you see it? It's kind of big. It's kind of a big one. Let's see if I can manage to not lose it. Right here. Look how pretty. Okay, right like that. Now this one's big, right? I mean, they can be like microscopic, teeny tiny, like micro mini. But that's what you're looking for in an area where there's other tiny small shells. And I'm just looking for Wentletraps right now, but if you look close, I mean, there's like a little, what is this, a little murex or a little drill right here. I saw a little conch too. That you'll find lots of tiny shells, lots of bubble shells. That's another thing to look for. Oh, there's another little Wentletrap right here. You see it? Right here. Ooh, let's see if I can grab it. It's a little wavy. Look at that. Let me make sure there's nobody in there. Nope, nobody in there. I always double check these teeny tinies. So just standing right here, and I know that it's going to be kind of hard for you guys to see because, again, I'm in the water and it is a little bit wavy, but this is exactly where you want to look. You're going to find lots of little bubble shells. That's always a good sign. You want to look for like the little stuff, all this little stuff. Let's see if we can find another one. I'm trying to see if I can find one big enough for you guys to, what is this little thing here? That's just a little barnacle. So this is the break line, okay? And usually we're used to seeing some larger shells in the break line, but the break line here is just teeny tiny shells and minis, and this is where you want to be. And again, bear with me because I understand that it's hard for you guys to see and it's wavy, but this is where you want to look. And let's see if we can find, I just saw something white. So I like to look for things rolling, and it's nice because the way that Wentletraps are shaped right here, you're going to be able to see them. No, I just lost it. You're going to be able to see them rolling, and they're pure white, so you'll be able to see them a little bit easier. And I just lost it. Oh, here it is, right here. Okay. Let's see if I can focus. There we go. super cute. So that's what we're looking for. And again, I'm just focused on those right now to show you, but there are so many other little shells down here. Like here's a little, I don't know what this is. Little murex. Little murex. Try to focus. Get that. I mean, there's so many teeny tiny little shells. And as the tide goes out, sometimes some of these shells will be left in the kind of like the rack line, which is great. Here's a little whelk right here. You see this one? Oops, where'd it go? Here it is. Oh, and here's a little drill too. Little whelk, little drill, little minis. And see if we can continue looking for some Wentles. Ooh, and there's a teeny whelk. Do you see this one? Look how cute. Look at that one. Oh my gosh, it's so little. And yeah, I mean, like, here's a little group. So like you can maybe take your hand and kind of pick up some shells and kind of look through it like that. Like, that's fine. I kind of have more luck just kind of at least trying to see if I can locate. Oh, here's a little olive. See, now I'm getting distracted and I want to find all the little baby shells. Oh, and there's a little whelk. Oh, here's another little whelk. Because you guys know this is like, I'm in my element here. I am a little mini tiny sheller. That's what I do. That's my favorite. So we're gonna keep looking. Just a little tulip. Oh, almost a little tulip, broken. Close. A little button shell here, and a little drill, and a button shell. Ooh, this will be a good group right here. Okay, see, so I see two Wentletraps right there. So one right here and one right here. One, where'd the other one go? Two, right there. Okay, a little fat one here. A little thick one and a little thin one. But they're here. And this is why, for everybody wondering, this is why I do the virtual shelling network, you guys. Like, I don't just want to do a bunch of like entertainment videos. I want to do education. I want to teach you how to find shells. I want to do tutorials. So when you come here and you want to find Wentletraps, you know what to look for. You know where to go. You know what to find. You know exactly how to do it. You know about sand dollars. You know about starfish. You know how to tell if they're alive or if they're not alive or whatever. Like this is like the heart and soul and passion of why I do what I do. So if there's any question about it, you're like looking at it. This is like why I love it so much, because I want you guys to have fun and be successful when you come to visit. I don't want you guys to wait all year for your vacation and come down here and not be able to feel like you're successful shelling. I want you to come down here and feel like you found some amazing shells because you know what to look for, and you've learned. So hopefully this helps a lot of you. I know that Wentletraps are a favorite of, I mean, just about every sheller I know. Here's another one right here, right there. And sometimes you do have to grab a handful. That's a big one. A handful of sand. Oh, and there's another one too. Let's see if we can find it right here. Can you see it? Right here. Ooh. Oh, I lost it. Where did it go? There it is. Got it. Look at that. And somebody asked me the other day, how come Wentletraps are so expensive? And they're really hard to find. They really are. If you don't know what to look for, you're not going to find them. If you're up here on the beach, you can be looking all day. You're going to be looking all day and you're not going to find them. They're here. They're in the water. They're with the tinies. And if you don't know where to go and how to find the tinies, you're not going to be able to find the Wentles. Here's another one. Right here. It's teeny, but it's there. And if I can find enough, guys, I might just have to send you each one in your beach treasure box next month. I'll see what I can do about that. Here's another tiny little whelk. Oh my gosh, see if I can get it Look how cute. It just barely has its little stripes. Little lightning whelk right there. This is so fun. I just love this. And look at this little, oh, let's see if I can grab it. There's a little conch, and I thought that that was a little teeny tiny, and I don't know where it went. Is that it right here? A little shark eye maybe? A little shark eye and a little conch. Look at that. Oh, so cute. Button shell too. I love those little button shells. I think they're adorable. Here's another good little grouping here. Here's a little Wenttle. 2 of them. Well, I think one's broken. Right here. Right there. A little tiny one. There's a little drill too. Cute little drill. Oh my gosh, this thing's so cute. I always do check the tinies too, because just because they're tiny doesn't mean there's not little tiny crabs in there. Oh, and there's another little tiny shark eye. Let's see if we can grab it. Oh, I think I've lost it. Oh. Cute! Look how cute! And here's another Wenttle too. I just saw it. Right here, right smack in the middle. You guys see it? Grab it. All right, and the bugs are coming out. They're coming out in full force right now. Sun's almost down, bugs coming out. This is the time I hate to go because there's awesome shelling right now, and I don't want to leave, but sometimes we have to because otherwise, little shark eye here. Otherwise we get eaten by bugs. So, let me give you guys a good little view of the lighthouse. A second segment to this Wentletrap tutorial because I know everybody loves to find Wentletraps and they're not always easy to find. But I do try to find them when I look for tinies, and you've got to find the tinies. So we are actually at the lighthouse right now. Let me back up so you guys can see how close we are to the lighthouse. The tide is just really high, even though it is going on low tide right now. So what I want to show you is that you have to find the tiny rack line. And there's not always going to be one, but usually there is here at Lighthouse Point. So I want to show you, like, this is kind of like the big rack line. Like, it's an obvious rack line, and you can see all the stuff, and like up here's another one. But you have to find the line that is the most recent. So I want you to see, like, right here. Can you see, like, here is the line for, like, the quote rack line that's the most recent. And that's where you're gonna find the little shells. Another helpful tip is to try to find the coffee grounds. So, or coffee grinds, whichever you wanna call them. But it's the little black stuff. And if you start to look for the little black stuff, okay, so here's like little black stuff, and you get down, this is when you're gonna start to find your tinies. And these are teeny, like micro tinies. All of these are little tiny baby shells. So right here, this is a little tiny hatchling whelk. Right here, little lightning whelk. Tiny. And there are just so many little itty bitty shells just right here in this spot. I'm trying to like focus so you guys can see how teeny tiny and microscopic they are. Now some people don't want like tinies like this small, right? Like that's really tiny, right?
And not everybody wants to find tinies like that. Oh, I think this is a little true tulip right here. Do you guys see it? That is like a hatchling just hatched out of the egg. Little tiny, oops, it just flew away from me. It is pretty windy out here today, so little tiny true tulip. Look how cute that little guy is right there. I know it's like super hard to even see. And this is another reason why I shell with my shell bag, because I don't want my perfect little baby, let me try to push it up so you guys can see, tulip getting out. I don't have to worry about him getting through my shell bag, because this shell bag was made for tinies. So if you need a tiny shell bag, I have them, virtualshelling.com. Very important if you're going to be out here looking for tinies and Wentletraps, because they will go right through the typical shell bag mesh. It's sort of the laundry bag mesh material that you typically would see. Okay, so right around a log like this or a branch is another great place, because stuff gets stuck. So we see a little bit of black stuff, coffee grinds right here, right? So we're gonna get down low. And this is where we're gonna find, look at all the little baby shells. I mean, these are little tiny whelks, like hatchling, you guys. Like these shells like just hatched. Look how cute. Tiny, teeny little babies. Look at these right here. I mean, they are so little. There's a little one right here too. So little and cute. If you like the micro tinies, micro minis, super tiny. Go on the other side here and see. So you guys can kind of see the line a little bit better here. And if we come down and follow that, this is where we're gonna find them. And again, I mean, not everybody wants to find like these particular teeny tiny microscopic little shells, but if you do, this is where to find them. And I'm just gonna follow this down a little bit. So same thing, you've got like your little black coffee grounds, not as defined as sometimes we normally see, but look at all of the babies. Look at all of them. Isn't that crazy? Look at that little pink. Like, I'm gonna put my finger here so you guys can see like how tiny these are. Look at that. I'll try to focus in. I mean, those are teeny tiny. So here, as I work my way down, and we're following this line, okay, we're following the line here, you will eventually find Wentletraps, because that's where they are. They're with the tinies. So right here, we've got a pretty little Wentletrap. We've actually got two. So we've got one here, and then we've got a teeny tiny one right here. So I can get it. Oh my God, it's so tiny. Look at that. Let's see if I can. Look how cute. So adorable. And then we've got like a small one. This, I mean, this is still like considered a tiny, but. And again, I'm just tossing these right into my bag, because I don't have to worry about them getting lost. I will have them when I get home. And then there's these little whelks too. And there's so many little shells, and sometimes you can't even tell what they are because they're so small. They're just so tiny, but sometimes you have to wait till you get home and get like a magnifying glass. And if I continue on, I don't know what this one is. This one is kind of, oh my gosh, you guys, so small. And then there's another little Wentletrap right there. See it right in the middle here? And I know some people want like bigger ones, but you know, everybody likes different shells. That's one thing I can say. Some people like the big ones, some people like the small ones. Wentletraps in general are not overly large shells. And we're still following this like tiny rack line. It's tiny. There's a little baby bubble shell here. Bubble. Another little tiny. Well, I mean, little tiny shells, they're just so cute. So this is one way for you to find your tinies and your Wentles. Oh, we've got like a whole cluster. Look at this cluster. Oh my word, look at all the babies. All right, I'm gonna see if I can get even closer for you guys so you guys can really like see them. Let me see if I can zoom and stay in focus. Oh my gosh, how crazy is that? So we're still continuing to follow. You guys can see the outline of this kind of new tiny rack line, as I call it. So we're still coming down, crouching down, and following, and still finding a ton of these little micro tinies. And then all of a sudden we have a Wenttle. So I think there's a little chip out of the bottom, but still a good sized one. This is like a better sized one than those like super teeny tiny ones that you're finding before. But this is how you are going to continue looking for those awesome Wentles along with your tiny shells in this. Oops, is that another one? Yeah, right here. It is hiding from me there, covered in some sand, but there's another one right here. So they're definitely hard to find. You have to look, but they're here. They're here, I promise. So you just have to take your time, and you have to look really close. Here's one right here. There, it's a pretty one. It's a nice tip on that one too. How pretty. So they are here. Okay, and sometimes you guys, you come across this patch of what I call coffee grinds, okay? So, let me, hold on, I gotta roll up my sleeve here because the tide's not going out as much as I was expecting. But this is basically the coffee grinds that we see that get washed up. It's just they're all together, okay? They're all, do you see them? So in here is a bunch of tiny shells because this is where the tiny shells live. So if I bring this up here and start spreading it out, we are gonna find fun, tiny little shells. Here's a little rice olive right here. Oops, where is it? Cute one. Okay, so you can see the coffee grinds are gonna be kind of floating to the top here. And this is where you can find some really fun stuff. I'm just gonna kind of spread this out so when the water comes in a little bit, it'll kind of sift through. You need a wave, please. There we go. There we go. And then you're able to see a little bit better. there's still like teeny tiny little shells in here too. So you kind of have to break up all of these coffee grind areas. This is helpful when you have something to help you dig, because sometimes the stuff gets really packed in and you'll tear up your hands pretty easily. Wave please, there we go. Ooh, not that much. Not that much, or we'll lose our shells. Oh, here's one. Right here. Do you see it? There? Try to rinse it off without losing it. There we go. There's one. So super fun way to look for your tinies and Wentles if you can find, and this isn't like a everyday type of thing. Oh, here's a really cute something. What is this? Oh, it's broken. Well, Mira, here. Broken. Oh, here's another one. You see it? Here. That's a good size one. That'll clean up really nice. A lot of these are going to be packed with sand because they're down in all of this stuff. Oh, and there's another one. See it right here? They're easy to miss because they're so tiny, and because they're white, they get sometimes filled with sand, and so they blend in like really well. You guys can see here, this is like another big area, and then here is where everything's getting like packed. So once the tide goes out a little bit more, we'll be able to come in here and dig a little bit. But this is like a rock hard, because this is just all shells that are kind of just compacted in this. But you guys can see all the black stuff, right? But this is going to be where they all are. All of your minis, tinies are going to be in here. There's a little drill that I think I just grabbed. Got some slime on it here. So this is going to be an awesome place. Oops, I just saw a shark eye too. Oh, where did it go? Oh, I just saw it. And just like that, it's gone. But this is going to be a great little hot spot right here. So all this stuff is going to get broken up, and all the shells will be dislodged. So this will be a great place to shell here as the tide starts going out. You can already see, like right here, there's a conch here. Right here, there's a little, it's like a little drill of some sort here. So this is going to be an awesome spot. This is going to be a hot, hot spot. And then over here too. So until then, though, okay, like you can already tell the tide's definitely going out. I'm going to find a shell to dig with. There's not a whole lot of larger shells here. But I'm going to find a little shell to move this stuff so I don't kill my hands. And I'm just going to dig. And again, when I say dig, guys, I'm not digging like a hole. I'm just moving the sand around and disturbing the surface. Oh yeah, this is going to be so chock full of good stuff. This is a little nut. So as the waves come in and sift through, it will start to uncover all these fun shells. is just another like shelling tactic, and when I teach you guys things like this, you have to remember, like, this isn't like every day. Like, this is if you come across something like this, just to be on the lookout for this kind of situation. So there's lots of ways to shell. You just have to take, you know, the day, because everybody else is walking along the beach over here and they're like, yeah, there's no shells, no shells, no shells. Well, clearly there's a ton of shells. They're just all tinies. And that might not be what you're looking for that day, but you know, you can't say there's no shells when there's a ton of shells, right? And over here, there's another little pocket. Look at these. Right here. Look at all those. Fun! Look at all these little baby tinies. Okay, just kind of let the waves come up here real quick and kind of sift through some of this. The tide's like going out really fast now, so the waves aren't quite getting up here as high as I would like them to get, so I keep trying to move down a little bit. Oh my god, I'm loving these little tiny shells. They're so fun. Let's try to dig up some of this. Oh, here's one. Look, here. Get it before the wave comes. Right there. Ooh, that was a pretty good one. Stuff is like so packed in here. Yes, waves. Here's a little conch. Here's little seraph. Right here. That's a pretty one. I'm kind of wanting the waves to get down to all these shells. Look at this, pretty Mirax. Here. I know there's a ton of stuff. I'm going to take this piece of this true tulip here and I'm going to use that to dig up some of these. Oh yeah, look at all this stuff. So the hard thing, like right now, is because when you go to dig, you don't want the tide to like take out all your shells. So I kind of just do like a little bit, and then I kind of look. A little conch. Oh, these shells are going to be so fun though. Let's see if we can throw some up there. Oh, the wave just came and took them all. That's the hard thing about having a wavy day, is the waves sometimes take your shells with them. But like I say, you guys, like, you know, for every wave that comes in, it's gonna uncover stuff, you know, like we can come back up here to this spot now because the wave just came up and it might have like uncovered stuff. Here's a little bubble shell here, here's a little auger here. It's like a little piece of a hair whelk or a paper fake here. Oh, here's a little Wentles right here. Right there. Right there. it off. But I mean, a lot of these shells, you really gotta be patient, especially on a wavy day like today. And you gotta look for them. They're not just sitting up on the beach. Sometimes they are. Ooh, look at this little tiny one. What is this right here? Look how cute this thing is. I don't know what this is, but it's like, oh, I don't know what this is, but it is so cute. All this black stuff in here. We're gonna dig all this up. Dig it up, dig it up. Spread it out. See if we can splash some water up here. Do a little splashing. See if we see anything. A Wentle right here maybe. Oh, here's one, look at this. That one. I think this one's just broken. This one's really nice. Look at the tip on that's like a unicorn horn, man. Look how pretty. Look at that one. Wow. Take up a little bit more. I lost my shell that I was using to dig. Spread it out a little bit. Let's see if we can just splash some water. Look if we see anything else. Uh-oh, here's a piece of fishing line. Make sure it doesn't have a hook on it. Put that in our bag so no fish eat that and get sick.
Okay, so I know I'm gonna get asked, you know, how do you pick up all these teeny tiny little baby shells, because there's a million of them, and you know, how do you get them all? So what I do is I find a flat shell, a piece of a broken shell. Any type of shell is fine, but make sure it is flat and thin, okay? Then I go down and I find wherever all of these like little tiny shells are, like this, okay? Move this out of the way. And I kind of scoop them together, like so, into a little pile, and I scoop them up and I just put them in my shell bag. You cannot do this if you don't have the right shell bag, because A, they will either fall right through. Uh-oh, Wenttle. Look, Wenttle. Yay! Cool. They will either fall right through the holes. Here's another good little section. So here's another little section right here. So I take my shell and I just kind of scrape them together in a little pile like you're sweeping the floor, and then I scoop them up and I dump them in my bag. So same thing here. Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of them here, little teeny shells. So I just very lightly kind of like graze like that, and then I dump them in my bag. Same thing. Kind of, I try not to get a ton of sand on there, but a little bit of sand's fine, and then I dump them in. So it looks like this, little piles of sand slash shells. Let's find another little area that has a few. Okay, so over here is a good little spot by this tree, and then I just scoop them up like that, and I dump them in my bag. Here. Oh my gosh, is this a tiny limpet? What is this? Oh, it's a little clam. Okay. So I'm just gonna very gently kind of sweep them all into a
a little pile like so. Sweep them up and dump them in my bag. Okay, so this is what you end up with. You end up with a whole bunch of, hold on, let me try to hold this and zoom in. A whole bunch of sand and shells, right? And a piece of fishing line. Okay, and then in the water, this is where the magic happens. And I rinse them out. You can see all the sand going out of my bag there. And I rinse, 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 rinse. And again, because my bag is a bag specifically made for tiny shells, I don't have to worry about losing any of them. I just worry about losing the sand, which is fine because I don't need the sand. And then I come back up, I open my bag again. All I have left inside are all of the tiny shells. All of them. Every single last little bitty tiny shell. And I didn't lose any of them. There's Wentletraps in there. They're all in there and I didn't lose any of them, and all of my shells are now rinsed out. I still have a couple pieces of, you know, dark stuff in there, but that's fine. That's not a big deal. But I was able to literally go rinse out my whole bag and get all of the sand out of my shells before I leave the beach and get them all nice and clean, and I don't have to worry about losing any of them. So that's why it's very important to have a good shell bag, a good one. Invest in a good shell bag, guys. These shells are hard to find. You know, Wentletraps, I mean, I've seen people on Facebook and, you know, somebody will post Wentletraps or I'll post a picture and there's people that are like, oh my gosh, I've been, you know, looking for 10 years, I've never found one, or I've only found 2 in 8 years, or whatever. I mean, guys, like, they're hard to find. Don't have a day when you come out here and there's so many tinies and you either don't have anywhere to put them because you have a cheap laundry bag, mesh, you know, shell bag from Amazon, and your tinies will fall out, or B, you don't even have a shell bag, so you try to put them in your pocket, and that's never a good idea. So make sure you're investing in a really great shell bag. So I hope you loved this tutorial on Wentletraps here at Lighthouse, showing you a couple different methods and techniques to finding them. If you love this video, please be sure to share the Virtual Shelling Network with your friends. I really truly appreciate all of your support. I love feedback. If you love Wentletraps, please let me know. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll see you next time. Bye. So I get asked when I get my tinies home, my microscopic little teeny tinies, how I go about separating them and what they do with them. So once they're all dried out in my shell bag, I take out the larger shells, like the minis, and some of, even though they're still really tiny, I take out the bigger shells that I can pick up easily with my hands, and I set them aside. Here's a little butter cup with some minis in it, and it also makes a great little display for your shells as well. And then here I also have a butter cup with Wentletraps in there, and I put them here so I don't lose them, but there's a little tiny true tulip in there too. I don't know if you guys will be able to see, it's so teeny tiny. Oh, I can't get it, but hopefully you guys can kind of see it right there. Oh my gosh, it's so small. I'm trying to focus in. So I remove the larger shells first, and then I dump out the remnants of my shell bag onto a paper plate, or this is just a piece of paper, and I do this in sections. You can use, I like to use like a little spreading knife like this. You can use a butter knife, that works really well too. And I just use this to really gently separate out the shells from the just broken fragments and the remnants of, you know, just beach trash, little sticks and seaweed and stuff. So you can see I'm just gonna put these in a little pile, these little teeny shells, and then I'll have kind of like a junk trash pile where I'm putting kind of everything else. And it's super simple. It does take some time and patience, but I found it gives me a chance to really look through my shells, especially with these
teeny tinies, you'll be surprised at what you have in the bottom of your shell bag. Sometimes you have really fun little shells in there. This process is really super simple. It does take some time and some patience, but I've found it really gives me a chance to really look through everything. Sometimes you have to get like a little magnifying glass because these little shells are so microscopic and they're little babies, and it's sometimes really tough to identify them. But if you have a magnifying glass, you can really check out what you have. You'll find some little tulips and little whelks and little rice olives and all kinds of just teeny tiny little shells. And it does take time. Shelling's a lot of work. It's not just a lot of work going out, walking the beach and finding them, especially these little teenies, but it's a lot of work getting them home and cleaning them and sorting them and all the things. So for those of you who shell, you know that it's a lot of time, not just on the beach, but when you get home too. And as I'm sorting, I see this little mussel shell. Oh my gosh, it's so tiny. I need to try to flip it over. Hold on a second. There we go. So I have it flipped over and you can see the inside. Look how pretty and shiny it is. And it's so tiny. See, that's what I'm talking about. You'll discover little finds that will be a surprise. But you guys can see it. All of my tiny shells from my shell bag are here. Nothing got out, nothing got away or got lost. That's why it is so important to have such a great shell bag, because all of my teeny tiny shells got home safe and sound. And if you're a teeny tiny sheller, you have to have those good shell bags. I'm going to put here these Wentletraps so you guys can see. Let me dump these out really quick. Okay, I just dumped them out, but you guys can see the little teeny true tulip right there. And there are some teeny tiny little Wentles in here too. And that's a baby pear whelk that I stuck in there. Look how cute is that? I'm trying to zoom in, but it's so tiny. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's so tiny, but that will at least give you an idea of what I do and how I get them home and how I sort through them. And then, you can display them however you want to. I'll give you guys some ideas. You can put them in just a clamshell, a Dosinia shell. You can put them in a scallop shell like this. You can use a cockle shell. I mean, look at that rice olive in there. Like, looks huge. It looks ginormous compared to all those teeny tiny little babies. But rice olives actually are pretty small, but it doesn't look so small compared to those other shells. So hopefully that helps you guys. Let me know if you have any questions.